In today's video, I will be looking into snake venom, which is apropos because we are in the year of the snake. So we'd like to decode what is the universe telling us. Well, we gotta see what information we have on hand so we can start connecting those dots. So here, is snake venom a cause of COVID? Yes, COVID symptoms can be caused by snake venom, which has been found in people with COVID and in the COVID vaccine spike protein. Snake venom in the COVID vaccine spike protein. It's hard to believe, but numerous studies state that the vaccine spike protein contains snake venom or something homologous to it. Also, people with COVID have been found to be affected by snake venom. Homologous means having a similar position, structure, value, or purpose according to the Cambridge Dictionary, or in other words, the same. What they have found is that the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein contains snake venom, or more likely laboratory-created synthetic snake venom. In January 2020, a BMJ report stated that an amino acid sequence on the receptor binding domain of SARS-CoV-2 spike glycoprotein was found to be homologous to a sequence of snake venom neurotoxin. In January 2020, the Scientific American reported that snakes could be the original source of the new coronavirus outbreak in China. A study of the virus's genetic sequence suggests similarities to that seen in snakes, but the origin must still be verified. The Chinese crate and cobra are mentioned. In August 2020, the U.S. National Library of Medicine study stated that we examined and identified a toxin-like amino acid sequence in the receptor binding domain of the spike glycoprotein of SARS-CoV-2, which is homologous to a sequence of the neurotoxins homolog NL1, one of the many snake venom toxins that are known to interact with nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. In September 2021, University of Arizona researchers led by Dr. Floyd Chilton found a link between COVID deaths and snake venom, finding evidence that there was an enzyme, a snake-like enzyme, in the blood of people. So the presence of snake venom look-alike in COVID or the COVID vaccine may be mind-boggling, but the 5 serious studies linked to above are difficult to ignore, though there is no shortage of official sites that cannot see the link between snake venom and COVID. So the conclusion here is snake venom may or may not be a root cause of COVID-19. Nicotine may not help every COVID sufferer, but if you are suffering from COVID or long COVID, then why not try out nicotine for a week and see what happens? So it's definitely worth a look here if anyone wants to check this information out. Then also this other article I pulled up. The University of Arizona researchers find link between COVID deaths and snake venom. I'm not going to read the entire article here, but if anyone's interested, they can look at this as well. So then looking at the Bible here, referencing snake bites and snake venom, the bronze snake. So this was during the time of Moses when he was setting the slaves free from Egypt. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom, but the people grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God and against Moses and said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread, there's no water, and we detest this miserable food." Then the Lord sent venomous snakes amongst them, and they bit the people, and many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us." So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake and put it up on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." So Moses made a bronze snake and put it up on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake, and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. So that's interesting that we're using snakes here in the Bible for the people that complained while they were being freed from slavery. So can we draw any parallels to what is happening in our current day affairs? Are we like the Israelites being freed from slavery, and are, is it like the same thing happening during the coronavirus? The vaccines. Is there any similarities here we can draw a conclusion from? Here's another dot I'd like to use to connect Asclepius, the god of medicine. Asclepius was originally immortal and later became the god of medicine and healing, according to the ancient Greeks. The myth of Asclepius is connected to the origins of medical science and the healing arts. His cult was particularly popular all over Greece, and people from all Mediterranean countries used to come to his temples, named Asclepian. To be cured remains. These temples can be seen till today. His story is pretty interesting and is actually a story of punishment. His legendary birth. Asclepius was said to be the son of god Apollo and a mortal woman from Trichala, Thessaly, named Coronis. Interesting, because the coronavirus is similar to her name, Coronis. And corona, we have the sun, coronal. Also, the corona is, the crown chakra, right? So there's so many interesting parallels we can draw here just from words alone. So we're talking about the female here, the female mortal woman, Coronis. While Coronis was pregnant, she fell in love with Ischys, another mortal man. When Apollo learned their secret affair, he sent his sister Artemis to kill Coronis. Indeed, Artemis burned Coronis on a funeral pyre. Meanwhile, Apollo, who was watching this scene and felt guilty of killing his unborn child, rescued the baby by cutting open the womb of the burning Coronis. This is thought to have been the first cesarean section in human history. Apollo entrusted the baby to centaur Chiron, a strange yet wise creature, half human, half horse, who was famous for his skills in medicine. Chiron then brought Asclepius up and became his mentor. His capacities and remedies. While Asclepius was growing up, he was becoming even more famous as a highly regarded healer with exceptional skills. Aside from the art of surgery, Chiron had also taught him the effective use of drugs, incantations, and aphrodisiacs as aids to healing. Asclepius was also said to have been given from goddess Athena a small bottle of Gorgon blood with magical properties. The Gorgons were mythical female monsters that had snakes for hair, wings, bronze claws, and eyes that could turn a human into stone. The blood from the left side of a Gorgon was supposed to kill a mortal man. When the blood from a Gorgon's right side was used, it was believed to bring a dead person back to life. Therefore, a bottle of such blood was a powerful remedy in the hands of Asclepius. So now he had the ability over life and death, right? The keys to life and death. Asclepius, who used to go from town to town and heal people from pain and diseases. The rod of Asclepius. So this kind of sounds familiar to the bronze serpent on the pole. Asclepius in the ancient times was almost always depicted as a middle-aged man holding a rod with a snake wrapped around it. The snake symbolizes the snake bite, which was the worst kind of disease someone could have in the antiquity and very difficult to cure. However, Asclepius had the power to heal even the snake bite. This rod with the snake is known as the rod of Asclepius and is even today the symbol of the physicians throughout the world. So it's interesting looking at this story and how it relates to what's happening in our world today. So we know that Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, is the hidden zodiac. They like to call it the 13th zodiac. It only takes up, instead of the 30 days, it only resides in a small portion of the sun's ecliptic path, which I believe is 19 days. So just looking at here, as above, so below, as within, so without. So we're seeing here the serpent bearer is you. You are the serpent bearer, right? So Ophiuchus is the pineal gland. The real reason why 13 is connected to Christ. So if Christ could bring the dead back to life, similar to the story of Asclepius, who used snake venom, sine wave here. So they say we're born in sin, we are actually born in sign. And then we have here God's mind, which is the zodiacs, the Mazzaroth. So it's interesting just to look at the parallels we have, right? And of course, the constellations in the heavens. So we have Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer, standing on top of Scorpius, right? Because you have the power to tread over scorpions and snakes. As it is written in the Bible, he's standing on top of a scorpion here, treading on scorpions and snakes. Like Jesus said, you will have the ability to tread on scorpions and snakes. And what's interesting here is we have Corona Borealis here, right next to the serpent bearer. And in the story of Asclepius, it was about his mom, Coronis. Also coronavirus, virus of the crown. And then we also have Sagittarius here, right here in the galactic center. We have the centaur located right here in the center, the galactic center. So this here is, we know the centaur, Chiron, is the one who taught Asclepius the arts of healing. And we also know that Chiron, the small planet/comet discovered in 1977, is called the wounded healer. So this is also important in regards to our story and how we can piece it all together using the data we have, right? So again, we have Corona here, Corona Australis. Sagittarius. Ophiuchus, serpent bearer. And then, all these dots we have to connect. So the serpent venom, it can kill and it can heal. Are we setting the slaves free? Is that what's happening? If you want to look at it on a more positive note, as I myself like to always look at the positive, we're Are we setting the slaves free from the financial slavery? Is that what is happening here? Are we having our awakening to the corona, the crown? Are we activating our crown chakra? Is that part of setting the slaves free? The power over life and death. This is our story here up in the heavens. As above, so below. As within, so without. As we learn more about who we are, the constellations are like our Akashic records. These are stories that are relevant. Even the Bible passages are relevant to what's happening today. Thank you for watching.